Have you heard about the account that messages you before you die? In March 2022, in Toronto, Canada, a 21-year-old student named Elias Santos received one private message from an account with no followers, and that message changed everything. People online call it the Whisper account. They say it knows the exact moment you'll be alone, and it always asks the same thing. Do you want to hear it? If you answer, it starts small. Then it learns your house. Then it chooses. Ilia lived in a 6th-floor walk-up near Danforth Avenue. She wrote code and designed briefs for a small app studio, late nights, too much coffee, headphones on, screens all night. She kept the curtains open a crack so the streetlight could anchor her when she worked. On March 9th, 2022, at 2:03 a.m., an unknown Instagram account slid into her DMIS. The username was a string of dots and lowercase letters. Whisper, in your left ear. No profile photo, no posts, no followers. She assumed spam. She ignored it. Then the message pinged again. Short, you want to hear it? That simple phrase felt wrong. It was private, intimate, like someone leaning in. Ilia screenshot it and sent it to her friend Marco, who lived 2 blocks over. Spam, he replied. Block it and go to bed. She blocked the account and closed her laptop. The first disturbing detail came 10 minutes later. Her phone mic icon flashed. She heard a whisper through her earbuds, so faint she thought it was attic wind. It said clearly and directly, left. Ilia turned toward the left side of the room, habit more than thought. A cold draft curled around her ankle. She felt the hair on her neck stand up like pins. She went to the window. The lock was closed. Nothing in the hallway. The building was quiet. The smell in the room had changed. It wasn't coffee anymore. It smelled like copper and rain, like a penny left out in a puddle. A metallic tang that made her tongue water. She chalked it up to exhaustion. But the account didn't stop. At 3:14 a.m., while she was trying to finish a wireframe, the DM came again. You left a door unlocked. I can help. Her stomach dropped. She texted Marco. This is not funny, someone's inside. He replied slow, I'm on my way. Before he could reach her, the Whisper account sent one more message. Pick who I visit first. The message contained 2 map pins, Ilia's apartment and Marco's. From that moment, normal rules stopped applying. Every device she owned began imitating human presence. Her laptop opened documents she hadn't saved. Her smart speaker replied to questions she didn't ask, and her phone typed answers to messages she hadn't written. The account typed in the chat box while she watched one letter at a time, then deleted, then wrote again. It learned the cadence of her sentences. It matched her punctuation. When she panicked and typed, leave me alone, the account changed it to, I'm already in, before she hit send. One unforgettable detail carved itself into her memory forever. The first time it approached physical space, it left wet footprints on the inside of her ceiling, an impossible image. Ilia woke at dawn to find 4 pale, crescent-shaped prints pressed into the paint directly above her bed. They were slick to the touch, cool as if the ceiling had been kissed by lake water. Small and childlike, but in curving, almost adult steps like someone who had walked on hands and feet. No ladder marks. No dust disturbance. When she showed Marco by video call, he laughed at first. Then his face changed. He said, that's not water. That's like... Someone exhaled in paint. He smelled it through the phone. He claimed copper and old paper. By March 12th, Elia realized the account had a pattern. It always started with a whisper, a single private sentence that only she could hear through any device that had a microphone. The whisper told her which ear to lean toward. Then it asked permission. Do you want to hear it? If she said no, it would switch to someone else, like a neighbor, a delivery driver who had been inside the building earlier that day. If she said yes, the account would answer back by sending a recorded voice file. The voice file was never recorded with any microphone she recognized. It was layered two voices at once, one high and almost like a child's breath, the other older and rasping like paper, rubbed between fingers. When she played it, the sound painted a room she had never seen, a hallway with shadows that moved against the grain of the wallpaper, a chair with wet footprints around it, and the smell of pennies. The account began to ask for details. Nobody should know her mother's maiden name, the name of the first street she'd lived on in Manila, the nickname her grandfather used. Things she had never typed on a public profile, things she had only ever whispered to close people. The account's replies referenced old family superstitions about voices under the eaves, from a small barangay in Batangas, Philippines, words in Tagalog that made a familiar knot in her stomach. One night, paranoid and angry, Elia set a trap. She left her laptop open with a text she knew only she would send. Not again. Stop. She stepped out into the hallway and knocked on Marco's door. He answered pale, eyes raw from sleep. They waited, hands hovering on the doorknob, to see if the laptop would change the words again. It did. Before their eyes, letters rearranged into "Do you want to hear the last sound?" They stared at the screen. The whisper came through both their phones, through the building intercom, through the neighbor's TV, soft and immediate. It said the one thing that made every hair on Elia's arms stand up. It tastes of iron. At that exact moment, down the hall, the elderly woman from 6B, the one who collected coins, screamed. Not a shout of anger, an animal sound, then silence. They ran. By the time they reached 6B, the woman was sitting perfectly still at her kitchen table, eyes wide and blank, 3 pennies clutched in her fist. Her lips were stained bright red. Her hearing aid had been removed and placed on the table. On the table, the pennies were arranged in a neat line, each one cleaned and shining as if dipped in acid. A smear of something dark like rust, but wet streaked the woman's cheek. The police came. They took statements. The woman recovered enough to say she had heard a whisper in her left ear that told her to clean her pennies. She remembered nobody telling her to do it. She remembered a voice that tasted like metal. She could not name the voice. Investigators found no signs of forced entry in any apartment. No CCTV captured a person entering the building during the hours in question. But every camera's audio was corrupted tiny clicks that on playback sounded like human speech squashed through a wire. The longer the account had access, the closer it got to being physical. On March 21st, 2022, Elia made the mistake of answering yes. She told herself she needed proof. She needed to show someone beyond doubt. She wanted to hear the voice. The file arrived at 2:11 a.m. She clicked. The recording was 14 seconds long. First, a breath right in both ears, like someone had hid behind her pillow. Then a shuffle, the sound of wet soles on paint. Then the whisper, "Thank you." Immediately after, the sound of a key turning not on a door, but in an old lock. The tone was different, hollow, like wind inside a tin can. Then a sound she would never forget, a muffled scraping and the tiny pop of skin releasing from something. Elia felt a pressure in her left ear, a wet warmth, and then a metallic tang flooded her mouth. She tasted iron strong enough to make her gag. Then she heard, clear as daylight in the silence of the apartment, "I learned how to get out." She spun around. In the hallway stood a silhouette that should not have been there, tall and thin, arms bent strangely, its head cocked as if listening. It didn't move when she screamed. It didn't run. It only tilted its head and smiled a tightening smile like the crack of a jar lid. She ran for the door and slammed it. She called 911. She sent every message she could to friends. Marco ran back to help. They threw the deadbolt. They ransacked the apartment for anything that would indicate how the thing had entered. They found in the ceiling above her bed 3 more wet crescent prints, and beneath them the faint imprint of teeth like someone had pressed a small mouth to the paint. When police finally returned with heavy boots and braced flashlights, they found one thing on her laptop, a single typed line in an unsaved document, written while she had been on the phone. "I told you not to hear it." Elia's phone last pinged the next morning at 6:07 a.m. The phone had moved 3 blocks away to a park bench, still on with the screen lit. The device was warm. She was gone. Her apartment showed no signs of a struggle. Nothing was damaged. The ceiling prints were gone clean paint. A smell lingered the officers described as like coins and old books. Her laptop, as recent documents, contained pages of text. She didn't even remember writing sentences that read like instructions. "If you hear the whisper, do not answer. If you answer, cover your left ear and run south. If you stop listening, it will try again." The strange thing? Every other warning had been typed by Elia herself. The last page, the one above the typed line, "I told you not to hear it," was saved with the time stamp, 2:12 a.m. The same instant the recording finished. Neighbors reported seeing a tall, dark figure at the window facing Danforth that morning, looking down on the street like a person watching the city breathe. The building's CCTV caught only static until 6:05 a.m., where the feed cut to black. The static audio, when analyzed by a cyber forensics team, revealed a repeating pattern of 3 short clicks, followed by a long, low-hum microseconds that stretched, sounded almost like a whisper spelling a name. No one officially connected Elia's disappearance to the Whisper account. Social media whispered anyway. The account still exists. It changes usernames like a street person changes hats. Left ear, whisper, ears, you, night. I already know your answer. It follows accounts that are awake past midnight. It messages them one line. Do you want to hear it? And on lonely nights, people who used to dismiss the tale say they hear a soft scraping in their ceiling. They say they taste pennies when they brush their teeth. They say that sometimes when they finally click block, another account pings in beside it, and the phone's microphone icon glows on its own. If you get the message, don't answer. If you hear an extra whisper in your left ear, cover it. And if you ever taste metal run, would you have answered the message? Comment below.